morning. It's Thursday, and I'm going to bring the guys in. There's George and Sean. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. What's going on?
You got a little echo there, George.
Got some background noise. It was very hard to control bikers here. So we're in Washington D.C. Saw President Trump yesterday.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
Nice. You gonna tell us about it?
Yeah, later on in the show.
Right.
I gotta post some videos up tomorrow.
You got a teaser.
Well, we got good videos for tomorrow. George is going to have some, and then I was working on Friday yesterday too. I got some good stuff for tomorrow. So I always like Friday. Friday's always fun. We're supposed to have a guest, Ann Elizabeth, on today, but I haven't seen her pop in yet. So she was having trouble with her email. So I guess we're just going to wing it if she doesn't show up.
All right. Anyway, so we could discuss a lot of stuff with the genocide that the black African president there that was saying that it wasn't happening. And then President Trump says, let's lower the lights and put the video up. And they did. And he almost turned a little white there because he was like kind of embarrassed because Trump had all those papers of all the genocide was done. And also in the video, it showed the graves, 1,000 graves of white farmers that were killed. And they're taking over.
Can I open with prayer before we get into it?
I'm sorry.
George.
I don't want to forget because I forgot that one day, and then we might have bad luck. So I want to do this.
Oh, she's logging in now.
Okay, good. For the Lord, this is kind of pertinent too because of what happened last night at the Jewish Museum. So for the Lord sees us not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. So instead of complimenting people on the way they look on the outside, why not take a cue from the Apostle Paul and compliment them on their inner beauty? And this guy that did that at the Jewish Museum was very, very ugly, a very, very ugly person. And so that kind of fits.
Yeah. He was screaming, what do you call it?
Well, when we were taking him in, he was saying free Palestine, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he was doing that while he was shooting them. Apparently he was acting like he was a witness at first.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that? And then he ended up confessing to something. So I don't know.
He confessed to a girl that they had on Fox this morning about the whole thing of it. It's just oh my God. You know, he was young, a college, like about a college age kid. There's no word because, and it's amazing when you're driving through DC, you'll see the flags are all LGBTQXYZ, MNNOP, QRST, UVW.
I think he was 30, wasn't he? This guy.
I don't know.
Yeah. He was younger. I mean, they're just evil. Anne's here, so I think she's ready. So we're going to bring her on. Okay. Good. Hi, Anne. You made it.
Oh, how nice you look, Anne. How pretty you look. I love the color.
You're so nice. I just realized my email server's down, so I apologize.
No, that's okay. I was happy to see your beautiful face this morning.
Thank
At least you can cheer us up.
Good to see you.
Yeah. You want to tell everybody a little bit about themselves so that they can remember you were here before?
Yeah, sure. My name is Anne Hunter. I was an RNC speaker for the Everyday Americans. I was on the Tuesday night border crisis, and I spoke about the loss of my son Weston to fentanyl from pouring over the wide open borders. My son was poisoned because he thought he was taking a Percocet. Doctors had told him we're safe, and it was given to him by a friend, and it was pure pressed blue powder that was inert, sprinkled with fentanyl, and it wasn't what it was supposed to be, and it killed him. And this would be the same as if you went into a restaurant and ordered a glass of wine, and they gave you grape juice and cyanide instead of wine. That is the equivalent. So it was a poisoning, it was a murder, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's open borders are 100% linked. So now I talk about that, and I talk about all the amazing things that President Trump is doing to stop the crisis, which he's been incredible.
Yeah. He's been doing some good stuff, and with the border shutdown, I saw the numbers went like drastically down on some of the stuff, but there's still so much work to be done on that. I know you're probably really busy with that.
I was for a while. I think that the president has kind of taken a shift with traveling to the Middle East, and then there's been some other things going on recently. But yesterday, he put President Trump, with the Treasury Department, put sanctions on two cartel members, two of the most dangerous cartel members. So I was out back in the media yesterday speaking about that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Smugglers, drug smugglers, drug traffickers, and arms traffickers.
Yeah.
Pretty violent, very seriously dangerous people. And so now the United States, through the Treasury Department, members. So that's what's going on. But he has done everything. President Trump has done everything that you can imagine to stop this crisis, and I am so grateful, and we all are. The whole entire fentanyl is grateful.
Yeah, he's doing such a good job. It's like you can't even. I'm sure there's probably more things that he could do. There's probably things going on behind the scenes that we don't even know about. But I think he's doing a wonderful job too. We couldn't ask for anybody more perfect to be, in charge of the country at this time. That's what I think.
Yeah, he's making people's heads spin. It's almost like they don't want him to succeed, but he's pushing through.
Yeah, and it's all the Democrats too, and those are the ones that are just fighting this all the time. And you wonder how much, on the take they're getting from drug cartels and the Chinese and everything like that. So much money, and that's why they're fighting it so bad.
Yes, you don't have Congress members who make $174,000 a year who are now worth $30 million for some reason. 2 years or 4 years later. So the drug cartels are operating in all 50 states. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry operating tax-free and regulation-free on American soil, and it's destroying Americans. It is literally a business of destroying American lives, and it is it used to be allowed to thrive, no longer with President Trump, but it's like trying to run in water. He's got the Democrats coming against him every step of the way. So he's doing as much as he can, but they're trying to tie him up so much in red tape. But I'm just watching him, push through, and everything that he's doing is amazing. It is incredible that these Democrats want these criminals to stay here. People who they are trying to victimize, who have criminalized Americans, who have, raped, murdered, trafficked, trafficked drugs, trafficked people. These people are really bad people, and it's amazing that the Democrats are trying so hard to protect them. Wife beaters. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's insulting.
I know it almost blows your mind, doesn't it? That how they can be that evil. I just don't get it. But people, God sees their hearts. That's all I can say.
Absolutely.
What about the news that they were denying about the MS-13 tattoos on the guy's hand, that it was Photoshop?
What they're talking about is during when he had the M for marijuana, S was a smiley, the 1 turned into a cross. They think that they probably tattooed over it, and the 3. If you do this on your face, and women do this with contouring all the time, it's a trick for media. You do the number 3 on a face. So he did it on a skull. You do it with contouring because it brings out your cheekbones. So the face is known as number 3. So that skull was significant of 3. What then they did was they took the M on the computer, and they put an M over it so people would know this is symbolic of an M, this is symbolic of an S, this is symbolic of a 1, and this is symbolic of a 3. And they wrote those above it. And people are trying to say that those were Photoshop tattoos. I don't know why they use the same color, but they did. But they were not trying to say that those were tattoos. Those were the visuals so people could understand what each one of those tattoos meant. They were never meant, they were an index. They were never meant to be confused as tattoos. So the tattoos themselves speak for themselves. It's MS-13, no doubt. There's no coincidence like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know the definition of those tattoos. It's unbelievable. Everybody that gets tattoos, it's a symbol about something. Like I got a few. So
the Maryland senator didn't know the definition of them. That's for sure.
Oh, he's a moron. Yeah, And it just look like even what the challenge between them and Marco Rubio about the whole thing is about the illegals and the drug dealers and everything else. How they're defending them? How can people vote for these people that are defending criminals, rapists, and drug dealers? And it's just like unbelievable, and it's not going to stop. It's the people we have to vote these morons out. It's just that I can't understand how these Democrats decide to put them in.
Well, they're all with the globalists. And as soon as George Soros, I don't know how he's still breathing. He is he's very aged and he does not look healthy. But I don't know what kind of secrets he's got going on. But his son is coming up right behind him, and he's been trained in all of his father's evil. And you see this happening now in other countries where you see all these refugees being let out onto you know, foreign soils in Europe, like Germany and England and some of these other countries overseas. You see the borders; they're having open border issues now too. You also see fentanyl going over to Europe because the cartels are, multi-billion-dollar companies. They don't just shut down overnight, so they have to be, thriving elsewhere. And so, since America is closed, they're still trying to get it over here, make no mistake. However, they're now looking at other markets and they've started shipping it over to the European market. And we're starting to see mass casualties in some of those open border areas where the fentanyl is now pouring into them. And it's just a shame. These businesses are not going to stop. These are businessmen. They have perfected the way that they run business in the fentanyl business and the drug business. They've perfected it. These aren't guys who are just sitting in a warehouse somewhere, smoking cigars. These guys are, business suits, businessmen. They're traveling, they're jet setting, they are making deals, and they are teaching people under them how to traffic it. So this is a business, and make no mistake.
Yeah, and China has a big part with this, all of it. China has a big part. A lot of people are blaming George Soros a lot, but it's a lot has to do with China.
It has to do with that. But there are so many globalists. I immediately run to George Soros, but you're absolutely right. George Soros to me is the globalist, Marxist, but we also we have President Xi, who President Trump really wants to work with, and he is, he's a communist. So I truly believe he had his sights on America. I believe that we're selling America off to them, and the drugs were just a way of weakening our country.
Oh yeah, it's very insidious. I mean, what better way can you depopulate a country, bring their morale down, destroy future military and everything, is to get the young people hooked on drugs and then bring them in that way and then lace them enough so that it kills them. I mean, it's so evil and so planned and so well thought out. They had to have been going on with this for a long time, and they're in for the long game. They don't do anything for a quick reward. Everything is planned out, mapped out, everything. But I don't know, you wonder, after Xi, if they ever do get him out, if anything will ever change. But with Biden, it wasn't going to change. As long as Biden was in there, I think it would have just gotten worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, I truly believe that, but there's so many people trained up behind them. I don't see it changing. They're protected parties, and when they don't get their way, they just fight. They fight you with things that don't even make sense, but they just keep fighting.
You mentioned about the lacing, right? But I think maybe you mentioned it too, Trix. This they're lacing it with obviously cocaine. They're lacing it in pot. They're putting it in pills, capsules, all kinds of stuff. But I think last time you were here, we kind of mentioned dispensaries. Now I'm in New Jersey as well with you, Ann, and I know dispensaries are popping up all over. Too many to mention. But I think that I've seen some stories about dispensaries putting out some stuff that was, product that was laced with fentanyl. And people, I think, are under the impression that these are run by the states, and they're not. They're licensed, right, by the states or by the townships or whatever you want to call it. But but they're individual businesses, and they're going to do what they're going to do to make profit.
Absolutely. They so fentanyl is 50 times more addictive than crack. We knew in the 80s and 90s that if you tried crack one time, you were addicted. I think I talked about that last time, but it is so addictive that if you can just get someone to try it one time, they're going to come back. And so these distributors think they're doing is they're taking it and they're spraying their marijuana or putting it in the oils for the weed pens, and they're small enough dose that it probably won't kill people, but just a tad bit. And I can't even imagine what that looks like, because just a little tiny bit kills you. But they're putting it in there because they want people to come back to them. It's really sick. It's a very sick, twisted.
They're even lacing, regular the prescription drugs and everything that they're sending over here because of the manufacturing is done over there. And they're not necessarily putting fentanyl in there, but they're putting heavy metals in it. They're putting all kinds of foreign ingredients into it. And I think it was just a couple of years ago they had a major recall on blood pressure pills because of that. And I think it was a indigestion one. I can't remember the brand name of it, but it was the same thing. They were putting all kinds of stuff in there so that it was actually poisoning you. And then the medication that comes over from there, like for chemo, they actually dilute it so that when it comes over here and you're getting chemo treatments, you're not even going to respond, depending on the protocol that they do, that you're not even going to respond to the medication because it's not full strength. And their plan is just so awful the way they do that. And the medication part is the real bad part, because I know you're talking about the fentanyl, but even the legal stuff that we rely on because it's not done here is coming from them. And I think that's such a dangerous, dangerous situation.
Yeah, I think President Trump's trying to change that. I mean, we have pharmaceutical companies all over New Jersey. It's kind of the pharmaceutical capital, I think, of the United States. And we should be producing it here. There's no reason that we can't produce all the precursors of all of our medicines over here.
Yeah.
And we need to get ingredients someplace else. They should be tested. They should be, make sure that they are coming over and they're what they say they are. Heavy metals is just another substitute for, filler. Whether they're diluting it or adding to it or what they're doing, it's pharmaceutical companies is another, multi-billion-dollar giant. They don't really care about people's lives.
No.
Commercials run on TV, they're all happy, and then if anyone would just sit and listen to the guy under his breath going, if you take this drug, this could happen, this could happen, you can die. And then I'm sitting there and I'm going, would you really want to try this medicine? I mean, he just went on for about 35 seconds talking about all the horrible things that could happen if you take it. But there's people smiling and they're dancing in the field. And
it cures one thing, but it gives you 32 others.
It doesn't cure it. It helps you maintain it.
That's what I used to do for a living. Was I worked with the big pharmaceutical companies, and some of the things I would do would be public engagement, and a lot of the things they would send like the commercials to me, and I'd have to go through them and look at them and figure out which ones would work, would engage more of the public, or go speak, on behalf of big pharma. And then I did a lot of the research things and everything. And those little things that you see at the very bottom is the most like on the commercials, that's the most effects that comes. But if you dig into what really happens, the list of side effects is probably 3, 4, 5 pages long on those things, but they only list the ones that happen the most. So if you ever see those on the bottom of the commercial, you can guarantee your butt that if you take that drug, that is going to happen to you. Oh, like 95% of the time.
And people think they're invincible. I know my son thought he was. And they think it's not going to happen. It's marketed as every American, everybody, very few people don't think this, but everybody thinks, okay, that happens to some people, but that's not going to happen to me. Yeah. And it can happen to anyone. I mean, the side effects of these drugs, and it's because of all these different things that they're putting in it. A lot of the things that they use to treat people are actual poisons, and it might help with one thing, but it's going to cause the next ailment, and then you're going to have to treat it for that ailment. And so what we need to do is get back to honest pharmaceuticals. We need to get back to, and I think that health RFK is working on those things. So I think that those things are really being addressed right now. in the administration. It
Mhm.
seems like, you know, he's taking food dyes out. They're trying to work with heavy metals. Vaccines have been kind of, you know, talked about a lot, made awareness to all those heavy metals being injected into people. So
And can you show a picture of your son? Can you show a picture of your son?
he's right behind me, but I think it's, if you can, I don't know if you can see, I think the background is kind of
Yes,
dim.
yeah.
I don't know how to do that right now, but
Yeah, he's like a little bit out of his face appears every once in a while. I just wanted to show people exactly what it looked like. I know what he looked like, but I'm just saying a lot of people on the chat might not know what he looked like.
here's a picture of him surfing. But I don't know if, again, I don't know if it's going to be.
Yeah, that's cute. That's good.
Yeah.
Very good looking boy too.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. But in China, there's the factories that make the precursor chemicals for fentanyl. And
Yeah.
and I want to make this clear. These pills are not being laced. These real pills. These are fake pills, 100%. Now they do lace cocaine. They're spraying it in marijuana. So we have to watch out. I can tell you countless. There's some very dangerous myth that marijuana, because it burns, is somehow safe because fentanyl burns off. But before it burns, you're either inhaling the particles or you are getting it hot enough that it will, because people smoke fentanyl and that's how they get high. So it will burn to a high enough degree that you'll get it. I can tell you, I've seen hundreds of parents coming through our support groups whose children were smoking marijuana laced with fentanyl who died. So it is absolutely 100% possible. These factories over in China, there are hundreds of thousands, or there are several tens of thousands of people that work in these factories, and we need to have them shut down. I think that President Trump is working on that with President Xi, so hopefully, you know, we'll see more results. But we are definitely seeing results in the reduction. And with Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, you have Kristi Noem, um, Tom Homan. The DEA had Derek Maltz, who's been standing by our side for the longest time, who was acting director for a bit. You have all these people in all the right places who are going to be, you know, who have been and who are continuing to really make strides in this effort. So.
Yeah, they've had some good busts, as a matter of fact, recently, right? Not too long ago.
Yeah, one of the largest in Florida, followed by one of the largest, again, I forget where it was, but really just intercepting all these drugs that just were pouring over. I mean, if you can imagine, those are just the tip of the iceberg, what we're catching. So imagine what was coming over before. If President Trump had been president from 2021 to 2024, I believe my son would still be here because I think he would have done something about this.
Yeah.
Long before this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of stuff wouldn't have happened if President Trump was president in that time frame,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right on that one, Sean. There's like a lot.
Yeah. But we have him now, so
I know.
gotta do what we have to do.
Praise God.
We got to get him for 2028 also.
We would love that. Everybody would love that.
Yeah.
I think that would be amazing.
I think it would be amazing too, and it'd sure blow the minds of some of them on the left. But the globalists are probably the ones that would really have hissy fits over that one. But you know, it's possible. Maybe they can change things around. Who knows? But I don't know. He's getting older, but he sure, you know, for as old as he is, he moves good. You know.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. He really is. I feel like he's a gift from God. You know,
Yeah. I agree on that one. I think God set him at the perfect time. I really do. And even though he didn't win the last time, now he won. You know,
Well, he did win the last time. He did win.
Well, he did, but they took it.
Pulled the rug out from under him.
Yeah. But it was fortunate, though.
I don't know if anyone caught that at the RNC when I said that, but I said it very subtly. I said when President Biden, and I made sure to say took office. I don't know if many people caught that, but I said it that way on purpose because it was absolutely a taken. And that for that alone, I believe that President Trump does deserve another 4 years because that was robbed from him. And everybody knows it, and people don't want to admit it because of their agendas. It's amazing how many people are just incredibly willing to compromise everything they believe in just to continue a lie or hope that this lie is true, and just wait for like enough information that they could feel like their lie can be backed up somehow. Everybody in their heart of hearts, I don't care who you are, knows that that election was stolen.
Sure, right. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what's funny is it was stolen. We know it because there's a lot of factual data that showed. But I just watched a video this morning of Letitia James, and it was a reminder video of how she campaigned on getting Trump, and all she kept on saying was she kept on calling him an illegitimate president. So if you're calling somebody the illegitimate president, how they're illegitimate because of the election? So it's okay for them to deny an election, but when you have an election with facts that was stolen, they want to demonize you for it.
Yeah. Then President Trump was the election denier.
Yep.
Which is
Typical leftist Marxist policies.
Yes, very Marxist.
Yep.
The thing we have to be careful of is if we let, if we as Americans allowed, these term limits, which there used to not be term limits. So these are the Constitution allowed for, continual terms. It was when we put term limits in that changed, and it's changed more than once. So we could allow that, but then we have to remember that could work against us as well, because then somebody else could come back in, like Barack Obama, who is a complete globalist, and who knows, we all know that he was behind Joe Biden, right? Him and probably some other people. So
probably pushing the auto pen.
With that,
probably one of the ones pushing the auto pen.
Oh, the auto pen, yeah. That one where he said, if I could have an earpiece and somebody to talk for me, that was his third term. So
yeah, Obama had 3 terms. Why can't Trump?
Well, it would have to be something as like we'd have, now that Trump is in, he has access to all the records, if they haven't been burned and destroyed, of the stolen election. And I think that Americans should see that, and that would justify a third term, and it wouldn't have to change the term limits, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Dr. Schwartz in the chat, but he's driving, so he can't really see type. So good morning, Michael.
Yeah. Well, Ann, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. I know it was last minute for you and everything, so that's even nicer that you did. And I know everybody likes listening, when we have this kind of discussion, because it brings up a lot. There's a lot of people, that their kids got into all this and stuff.
Well, they just had, and the reason why we thought of you, Ann, was because of that big drug bust that they had with all the fentanyl pills, right?
Yeah.
That was the first thing that comes to my mind every time they do a drug bust like that is you and your son cross my mind.
Well, I appreciate that. I love coming on your show. I love you guys. I think you guys are amazing. It is incredible to be asked to come onto your show. And anytime, if you want me to weigh in on anything, I love talking politics. So
awesome.
Good. You balance me out against these guys too, so it works real nice for me. That way, I get a little bit of female power going here with me.
Have to have her on board.
Patches for my guys, so they'll be wearing them on there. In fact, I'm making a vest for President Trump.
The patches?
I'm making a vest for President Trump, and I'm putting that patch on there. I'll send you a picture of it.
That means so much to me. Thank you so much. It really is amazing. Thank you. I did see you have an event coming up with President Trump, so that is wonderful. What is the event?
Well, we just was last night. Was the Florida Gators basketball team came in? There was a kid 7'9" there that was like even made Trump look like a midget. The kid was gigantic, it was unbelievable. But it was pretty nice. Everybody showed up.
That's wonderful.
They should put him next to Barron. You guys see who was taller, him or Barron?
He's taller than Barron. 10. Well, Barron's 6'9". I mean, this guy was like 7'9", I think. But I don't know.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you got to see. We're going to put a photo in tomorrow's show of the one, how tall he was in the Oval Office.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Were you in the Oval Office with us?
No, we were. It was in the East Wing room. We were in.
Oh,
That's what everybody. It's pretty good.
that's amazing. We do our annual march on Washington D.C. for fentanyl. We're hoping to be invited into the White House this year. Barron Trump, my son thought Barron was so cool, and he came to me one day and he goes, "Mom, you know all the girls like Barron." I'm like,
Yeah.
he's like, "Yeah." I remember he was a freshman. He's like, "All the girls love him."
Yeah, all the parents are sending in resumes of the congressman too for the
Oh,
kid.
yeah.
Oh,
That's funny. That's amazing. He's going to be something.
Yeah, I think so. He's going to be very powerful. He's getting groomed. His mother's doing a great job with that one. That's that focus. All right, Ann. Well, thanks again. I appreciate you. Love you.
Thank you so much.
I'll send you that
Thanks,
photo.
Ann.
thank you, Ann. Have
Until
a
the
great
next
day.
time.
Yep, we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
She's so pretty. She's very pretty.
What
Girl.
what a good soul too. I mean, obviously you feel for what she went through, but to jump up to what she's doing now in the midst of losing her son is a special person.
One of her story, I think, helped put Trump over there.
God bless her.
With the little fence there that because of the drug situation, about what she said about the kid. I mean, the kid was unbelievable, very smart and everything else. And to make a mistake, all the parents. I mean, you have a lot of parents. A lot of people. There's a lot of kids out there. The parents that they don't see what the kids touch or take or anything else like that, because like a lot of times, if they have a football injury or anything else like that, right away they'll turn to pain medication, and they think the pain medication is laced with fentanyl, which is really bad.
Yeah, I remember my son had a football injury with his knee, and he had to get surgery, and we kept on lying to him when we told him we'd give him the heavy stuff, and they were just the big Tylenols or whatever they were, and he was like, I said, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when I had surgery, that I got a fentanyl patch. I think I told that story before on my back. And I mean, I was only on it for a week and went cold turkey on Friday because I ran out and I was supposed to step down and I didn't know. And that is it was the worst feeling in the world. I mean, I drank a whole case of beer just to make myself pass out. And then when I woke up, it was gone. But there was no way it felt like ants were crawling on you and you just it was horrible. And they don't tell you how addictive that stuff is. And it's really, really, really horrible.
Yeah, people don't understand. I mean, in my bike, I have that. What do you call that thing? I have that thing in case someone gets touched.
Narcan.
Yeah, I have that in the bike. I got two boxes in the bike that I carry with me because just in case you run into somebody, even anybody that or with that stuff, we just we know how to administrate it and stuff. So.
Yeah, they have vending machines and everything with that stuff now too in some of the states.
It used to be it was very expensive when it first came out until now it's max produced. It was unbelievable because we figured the pharmaceutical companies had something to do with the fentanyl product.
Yeah.
So, everything else like that. It's just unbelievable. And a lot of stuff's going to happen. There's a lot of stuff he talked about. President Trump. We'll discuss some more stuff tomorrow, but the genocide that happened. You had the president from Africa there, and they were denying about the genocide. And Trump showed them that little movie clip and the 1,000 graves and the stuff.
That was awesome. I watched it. It was a total ambush on that African president, and he just sat there with that stupid look on his face too.
Yeah, he called them out.
Mm-hmm.
They're all there denying it and everything else. And it's okay. They were pushing on a thing about how much. Yeah, he did.
He even brought the white golfers in and the white, for support. And then the white golfer turned around and said, well, yeah, my brother's friend was killed on the farm and there's a lot of his friends that were killed. And so they wanted to embarrass him. And I'm glad they did because it brought genocide up.
And the Democrats are complaining that we're taking these people in from South Africa from the genocide and stuff like that, which is a very positive thing for this country because there's a lot of farmland that the parents had, but the kids got educated, and lawyers and doctors and everything else, and don't want to produce the farmland.
Yeah.
And these people are well educated in farming, which would benefit the United States for our own reason, because as we all know how much land the Chinese bought because they want to control our food supply. So we
Yeah.
need people like this, which is very important. Even if they get the land, I mean, there's land out there that farmers actually rent out and lease out to people, to the like the same thing with these farmers, they will lease out the property, man.
Did you want to bring that up, Sean? That clip?
Well, I just put a new clip up there. It was for the mainstream media how they what? If you want to pull it up, I'm
Okay.
sorry. So this is the mainstream media yesterday.
To the dramatic scene in the Oval Office today, the tense confrontation, President Trump ambushing the president of South Africa.
Next, another Oval Office
Yeah.
meltdown, President Trump ambushing the president of South Africa.
President Trump is being accused of conducting something of a diplomatic ambush of South Africa's president in the Oval Office.
To be with you, I'm Katie Tur. President Trump orchestrated another Oval Office ambush today.
Today, Donald Trump meeting with the president of South Africa and attempting to ambush and humiliate that leader.
To Zelensky territory, where essentially he was a bit ambushed inside the Oval Office.
Felt like an ambush in there, kind of like the President Zelensky meeting in the Oval Office.
This was an ambush. It was orchestrated.
Cyril Ramaphosa brought his best diplomatic self to this meeting, but nothing could have prepared him for this multimedia ambush.
What started as, to some degree, an ambush.
Well, Katie, I mean, it wasn't ambush.
Ambush.
Ambushed.
An ambush.
It's like they all get the same.
Inside the
They
Oval
must all get
Office.
the same paper. They must get all
Yeah,
the same.
but I agree with them. It was an ambush and it was on purpose. I think it was the most strategic move he could have ever done because it got the world, it got the world looking at it. That's all I wanted to say.
I wouldn't call it an ambush. I think President Trump set him up very, very, very well.
Well, yeah, but I thought it was an ambush. That I didn't even see that clip, and I don't know. That was my opinion.
I'm just amazed how they send all those clips out to everybody to say the same thing.
Yeah.
You got to send me that.
The Media Matters does that or whatever. They get like their talking points to the media, and then they all go with it. I mean, it's you would think they would change that by now.
Yeah, they did.
One citizen, I found that on Twitter. The account is Western Lensman, I should say, LENSMAN.
Well, there's a news source. I think it's called Gallant. I'm not, now don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And that they send out the talking points at 4:00 in the morning. Everybody that's in the media gets that. And I found that it was Anderson Cooper at one point. They were doing a story with him, and he actually had the printout right on top of a coffee table, and you could read the script on the top. And that was one of those 4 a.m. talking point things. But that's what they do.
I mean, there's definitely services out there that even send stuff out to like guys that are like in podcasts. Like, I remember Bongino would have things and he would say something that I heard on like maybe the radio beforehand. There's definitely services that send stuff out, but
there's a couple of people mentioned in the chat about balls, BAWLS, which is very good that Trump does. And you notice that Trump did not read it from any type of script. He was all doing it out of his mouth, just from thought.
It was great. And then
I like when he was waving the papers around and just and this one and this one.
If you notice, he was doing the sign of the spear, like this with his fingers. You watch everything he does. You have to watch the whole clip and how when he controls the situation, how he moves his hands and stuff. And then, like we say all the time, we have to pay attention to what President Trump says and also his actions and what he does. And I mean, he stuffed those papers right up that guy's ass. I mean,
he did. I loved it.
It was the paper and the jar of Vaseline at the same time, which I think it felt pretty good to that president from South Africa. So, happy day.
George, I got a joke for you, George.
Very good. Give me one.
What do you call an alligator in a vest?
Alligator in a vest? Me?
An investigator.
An investigator.
I
gotta remember that one. Let's go.
I saw it this morning. It was funny. You guys want to talk about that murder last night, the double murder, the assassination?
Yeah, we're going to bring that up. Yeah, talk about that. Yeah, that's good.
So there's a clip of which let me pull it up. I guess Omar wouldn't denounce it. They just saw. So let me just pull it up here. Give me 1 second. I'll share it with you, Trix. It's up there now. Omar wouldn't denounce it, apparently.
Okay, I'll put it on.
All right.
This is for the family.
Congresswoman Omar, can I get your reaction to the shooting that happened in D.C. last night?
I'm going to go for now. I'm going to go for now, Mark. Couldn't even say condolences for the family.
How's that?
Oh, she's such a witch.
Yeah.
I don't even have the words to describe her.
I mean,
they took her out of the also, right? Did they take her out of the committee? One of the committees?
What's that, George?
Well, E.T., the other one. The one that's got the towel on her head.
Lead?
Yeah.
Ilhan Omar?
Yeah. They took her off a committee. But that's what they have to do. The Republicans got to do something. I mean, the whole thing is they were big concentrating on that big, beautiful bill that they were talking about. Now it was corrected in the House. Now it's got to go back to the Senate now again. So, and it should pass. I mean, it's
they want to go home for the weekend. What? They want to go home for the weekend, for the holiday weekend. Yeah. They'll get it passed. Yeah. But I don't know. I think the anti-Semitic stuff going on in D.C. is really horrible, though. But the Dems let that.
We were driving there. We saw all that stuff. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, but the Dems let that happen. They let that fractional margin take over, to be the whole message. I think nobody, like what you say all the time, nobody on the left has enough balls to go ahead and shut that down. And they really should. And there's Jews and everything that are in that part too. And they're going right along with it.
There were buses that were lined up because we were in the Uber coming back from the White House. And as we were coming back, we went right past that. And they had all the buses and everything else all lined up for visitors to go into that museum. Can you imagine if he just shot those two people, but imagine if he could have killed more. I mean, and then I'm surprised they don't have in these museums. They should have those metal detectors, and then supposedly the guy is Puerto Rican, and he was screaming out Gaza,
well, I don't think he went inside the museum, right? I think he was hanging outside.
Yeah. No, but he got them. He walked in like close with a crew of people, like he was part of the group, and that's how we got in. But the whole thing is they're gonna have to do. I mean, you drive around D.C., every lamppost has a, LGBTQXYZ, MNOP flag, every effing light pole has the flag of theirs, and it's like unbelievable. We saw as we were coming out of the White House, we noticed all the guys noticed and the women noticed that there was a little protest going on there.
There's always protests.
But the funny thing
you don't have to look for a protest in Washington.
They walked there and all of a sudden they saw a whole bunch of kids with MAGA hats on, which was good.
Okay, I want to bump in here and do the trivia because we're getting close to 10 too. Okay, so here's the question for today. I don't know. Stop making fun of me, George. I see you doing that. In 2006, which U.S. congressman resigned after a scandal involving inappropriate messages to teenage congressional pages? So I'll do it real quick again. In 2006, which U.S. congressman resigned after a scandal involving inappropriate messages to teenage congressional pages?
I remember that. But I forget who it was now. Marty Kin said Wiener. Stacey Texas said Wiener. Patty M said Wiener. Dr. Kurt Schlegg said Packwood.
We have a lot of new people in the chat. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate that.
Insider said free plane ride to Nashville for hitting the like button first now. I like that. Little Chicky said Wiener.
What's it with you people with Wiener?
He said Wiener.
Everybody's got something on their mind this morning.
What's this? This should be a Frisky Friday.
This weekend?
US on Air said Wiener. TSM said Frank something.
Yeah, Frank. Yeah, that's a good one, Frank.
Mark, it wasn't Wiener. I agree, Mark.
No, it wasn't Wiener. It wasn't the bun either.
Let's see. Nuts got
Augie said Franken.
Nuts got Mark Foley.
Augie said Franken.
Tiog Franken.
Stacy says, "Don't choke on that wiener."
Stacy, you bad girl.
Insider said Foley.
Yeah, that's Nut.
Mark Foley.
I call her Nut, but she's insider on here.
Florida for Trump said Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah, that was the wiener.
She
And the
did not,
cigar.
she did not have sex with that wiener.
That was the cigar and the wiener. You people, I can't believe how you people talk in this chat. I'm very.
Yeah, we got a bunch of dirty birds in the chat, don't we?
And Mark said pencil neck.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Oh, he got hit. He got hit pretty bad too.
Oh, I hate that guy.
Now, just put this into perspective, people. That they have a slush fund for sexual harassment, and so far we spent $58 million in that whole package that was done. That our tax dollars are paying these pieces of shit. Majority of them were Democrats, but there's some Republicans, but majority were Democrats. And
So-
we're paying for all the lawsuits that come in from the sexual harassments that happen. So far, they spent $58 million, which I think it's just amazing that they have a slush fund to know that they have fucking pieces of shit. Oops, excuse me, dirtbags in the in the House and the Senate. So it's a shame. I can't believe it.
Well, that's an interesting question. We'll have to get the whole story on that tomorrow too, on this trivia question today.
Yeah, we'll go into it.
I wonder if we could find some video on it.
Well, do you guys remember that scandal back then?
I remember. I just forget.
Pages, and I mean, it goes way back to even in the 80s. That stuff was going on. The Franklin Group back in the 80s. It was with congressional pages and everything too.
Yep.
So this stuff, this stuff isn't new, and you wonder how long they've been hiding it. With money going out, we didn't know. Finally we know. But I'd like to see that slush fund list too, because money's probably big on it.
What part of the budget that is?
I gotta say, as a taxpayer, we deserve to see that slush fund list, 100%.
Oh yeah.
That's I don't know why that's like I don't care if you're a Democrat, I don't care if you're a leftist, I don't care if you're whatever you are. As a taxpayer, you should want to see that without a doubt.
I can't remember that congressman's name, but he said he doesn't give a shit, and that's his exact words. Whoever's in trouble that did any of the stuff with the trafficking or the sexual things or stuff like that they should all go to prison, no matter what. He doesn't care. It's just it's amazing how deep it is. Besides the deep state.
Oh, you're talking about Epstein now, not that slush fund.
Yeah, no, but that's part of it too. I mean, just like the kids that are, these kids that go work for them, and I met a few of them yesterday, believe it or not, and they try to be very helpful and very, courteous, when they're assigned to a congressman, woman, or a senator, and they try to be so helpful and kind, and they might get close, and then they could just bump, rub, and everything else like that, and they're afraid to say anything because for the simple reason is because they're worried about their job. They're looking for their future.
They're worried about their career. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's big time. So I mean,
that's why I always say there's one guy in Washington never has to worry about his career, and that's Donald Trump. That's why I think he's.
Well, and that's why they try to prosecute. Look how messed up Mrs. Latoya James did. The Attorney General of
well, now she's saying it was a mistake. It wasn't a
the mistake. I like when they say mistake and then they says it can't be or it's false and all this other shit.
Yeah.
What is that? What was that saying is when they keep on talking about it so much, they're guilty as hell. That's what the thing is.
I mean, if you go rob a 7-Eleven with a gun, you made a mistake, right? Because you made a mistake going to robbing a place with a gun.
We're all projection. Everything they accuse the right of doing, they're doing, and it's guilt. It's their guilt.
Absolutely.
But it's absolutely projection, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna try to get that Dr. Mike back.
Yeah, he was supposed to be on.
You had to take care of some personal stuff.
Yeah.
I know. I was looking forward to that today too.
What happened?
I said I was looking forward to Mike being on today because he thinks
he's very, he's a research doctor. He's got a PhD, but he has a lot of knowledge and about what's going on and everything. So
I just wanted to give him some shit about baseball today. That's what I was going to do.
Put your head down.
Hey, Alan, come here and say hi, Alan.
How's it going?
What's up? How are you, man?
Doing good. We're doing good.
You're getting bombed back there, George.
Photo bomb. That's great.
You got some more bombers coming along.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Hey, Wendy.
Here's practice here. Okay, here we go. Look, we got a set of balls and stuff. Check this out.
There you
go. This is what I have to fucking deal with.
That's some piece of fruit for you, George.
Yeah. They put it by my hair.
George, you know what? They may, but don't fall asleep on the ride home. They may,
the other guy
get some compromising photos.
Yeah,
I would have brought a Sharpie for when they fell asleep. That's what I would have done.
That was Wade whiskey. Then you got a Papa Bear. You have Patches. Patches got to get his patches sewn on right. And then you got Wade whiskey. He has a great foundation with honoring strings. I always got it all full. They had string heroes for strings. But what he does, he gives
for heroes.
Yeah, hard strings for heroes. Right. He gives out guitars to veterans and Gold Star families. And actually,
I remember you were telling me about that. That's
awesome.
I'm
gonna send you a picture of one of the guitars that we're waiting for President Trump to sign. So
that's awesome.
I'll send you the picture so you can put that up tomorrow. But we had all the J6s sign it. We had Byron Donald sign it. I was trying to get General Flynn, and I told him I was in Washington. I was hoping to see him, but he was in Boston on a mission.
Boston?
He texted me up about Boston. So we missed that one, but it was good to see everybody. We saw all the congressmen and everything. Everybody was surrounded Byron Donald, and I went to Stubbe. I says, "Hey, Congressman Stubbe, nobody wants to take a picture. Here I am. I want to take a picture."
Isn't he the one that fell off a ladder?
Yeah, no, he fell off the roof.
The roof. Okay, I knew he fell off of something.
Yeah, and he got all messed up and everything else. He was pretty messed up.
I see
Great
my
guy.
man Tebow was there
He's a
yesterday
veteran too. Yeah, he's a veteran too. He's a good man. He's a good what do you call a constitutional republic, true to heart, like Byron Donalds is. And the shit's got to start. And everything else. But, Byron Donalds got a lot of endorsements and stuff. About with Florida, but we have pretty good congressmen. The ones that took over the seats for Matt Gaetz was there. Matt Gaetz was brought up in a conversation with some people yesterday. We had dinner with one of the staffers from the White House on the night before. Before Wednesday, we had a dinner with him on Tuesday, and we were talking about discussions and everything else. And he said about the deep state and stuff like that. He said his last name is Patel. And the thing that's funny is he said, you're the Patels and stuff like that. Now, I was talking with the guys here before. You're at the hospital, and now you say, paging Dr. Patel, and all of a sudden you have 72 Patels coming down the emergency room. It's a very popular name. It's like Jones Smith in India. Yeah. So. But very, very nice guy. We made him an honorary member for Born to Ride for 45. Gave him some shirts because he, hope this. I got a lot of people in for this event on for Wednesday, which was pretty cool. But the rest of the people that were invited are a bunch of rude people. They just keep on pushing you like they gotta, like Trump is going to see them, And we were in the front. I was in the front and everything else. But it's like, and then the people came in of the family of the of the basketball players, so they were in front of us.
Well, at least they weren't as tall as that 1 7-foot guy, so that you could see actually could see the
It was
stage.
7 foot. I'm going to show you the picture tomorrow. Well, it's unbelievable. It's a video. You got to see how he walks in. He walks into the Oval Office, and Trump was like, it's like me sit down.
I know my godfather's 6'9", and I think he's tall, and then you see somebody that's like 7 foot, and it's like, holy smokes.
This was over 7. He's 10 inches taller than Barron.
Yeah, I'd like to see the legs on that guy. They must be like stilts,
Just so you know, they what was it, 30? I think they were 4-34. They won 34 games. They won in the championship for the College Bowl.
I'm gonna top in. I'm sorry. Go ahead, George. I was just gonna say I've been running the banner on the bottom for anybody that hasn't registered for the convention yet. It's down there if you want to. I know Mark is trying to get everybody in so that he has a count on rooms. That's all I was gonna say. You're muted, George.
Well, I got these fucking guys. Don't shut the fuck up.
Tell him be quiet back there.
I told him.
George, you need like a little red sign that says quiet. You hold it up.
Yeah.
Look at this place. It's got a pool table.
Look at that.
Look. It's got 10 bedrooms, 9 baths.
Wow.
Everybody's sleeping good.
What's the Airbnb you're at?
Yeah. $1,500 for 2 days. But you got a whole bunch of people sitting there. They're fine. Came out to $110 each.
Yeah,
you can't beat that shit.
No.
Can't beat that. Cheaper than a hotel. So.
Yeah.
You got to work the Airbnbs, but you got to check them out and make sure what their ratings are and everything else. But I think this place is owned by Alibaba. I think they own it.
Leave bacon all over the place.
I did already. We did. That's what I took.
I figured you would.
Pictures of me cooking breakfast. So I made 2 pounds of bacon, 18 eggs, cheese. Fed everybody. Then we got plenty of bread left over.
If I would have known that, I would have drove. You're only 3 hours from me. I would have drove down for breakfast.
You should have
came down for breakfast.
Hey, did you give me that thing so I could do the endorsement letter for you?
I'll get it. Well, you're traveling right now. I'll get it to you.
I'm going to come to Jersey and kick your fucking ass if you don't give me anything. I'm telling you. Come on, people. Tell them in the chat. My endorsements mean very much.
I appreciate it. I'll get it to you.
I endorse this show. And if you hit the like button, you're endorsing it too.
There you go, Trix. That's what happened. Yeah,
I said I endorse this show. And so if you hit the like button, you're endorsing it too.
Yeah, endorse the show.
Yep. Hit the like button.
Our endorsements mean a lot on this show. So
absolutely.
Yeah, the higher we go, the more you guys will be able to find us in the morning. But we probably should wrap up because it's already after 10. It's a minute after people are dropping off.
Yep.
Come on, everybody, hit that like button, hit that up button. All right.
Yeah, last week we got 65 when Red was on, so we want to beat 65 today.
And you got hit right away with the show this morning. As soon as you clicked on, it came right up.
Yep.
As soon as you start the time, it came right up. So
yeah, I think we're on a 30-second delay. I've been trying to time it from off my Chromebook and from this, and that's what
it came up pretty quick. I'm just saying, I got hit on the phone with you, but we'd like to thank everybody in the chat for joining us. And stories are very important. We try to get people here, so very informative, which we'll have more. I'm gonna try to get George Papadopoulos.
I want Sybil Edmonds. She's the FBI whistleblower. I'd really love to have her come on.
Well, we'll get in touch with her. We'll find out.
Well, I talked to her through.
I think Steve. I was friends. I'm good friends with Steve Friend. I'm gonna give him a call and see if he's.
What a great name that is.
I think he went back to work.
That's a great name, Steve Friend. That's an awesome. You have a friend in Steve.
Well,
that's a good politician name.
We have lots of friends too.
Yeah, but let me tell you something.
We know some people, George, too.
He said to me, very important, that we should bring the guy that's running for governor for Jersey.
Yeah.
Not Chucciarelli there.
Oh, Spade.
You know what his name stands for, right? Italian name? Chucha means ass, the donkey.
Does it?
Yeah.
Well, at least it's not Stunad.
I may go walking with him on Saturday. We'll see if it works out, but we'll see.
Cool.
But, you know, but whoever wins the nomination, I mean, obviously, I like.
Yeah, I understand it, but the whole
whoever
thing
wins
is,
the nomination, I just hope people get together and because
the
it's
problem
time
here's
to
this hint.
change New Jersey.
This is a hint to everybody in the chat because we're going to start closing this down. The hint in the chat: whoever they give negative statements to and dump a lot of money to against, that's the guy you got to vote for. Because if you're trying to spend so much money on a guy like that, that means he's going to hurt the GOP.
That means there's a lot of special interest money coming to hit that person.
And that's what happens. And we had a guy, I told you, the election we had in Nandale County, they dumped all this money against this black guy. And then they said, oh, he was this before and everything else. And it was a commissioner's job. They spent fucking millions against this guy.
Yeah.
Millions against this guy.
The county commissioner?
Yeah, county commissioner job.
Wow.
Millions.
A lot of money. Yeah.
June
That's like
5th, we got Pastor Jackson Laymeyer coming on too. June 5th.
Oh, yeah. So he was on Ed's show, right? The other night.
Yeah, he was on Newsmax. Yeah, I texted Ed that day too, and I said, haha, we got him June 5th too. So
what did he say?
He wrote back, haha, you know, cool.
That's
so
a big
anyway,
thing.
so
Hello,
yeah.
Ed, if you're listening, Master Ed.
Yeah, so we'll have him. But
Hey,
he's good, you know.
Yeah.
So that'll give us a little bit of a religious take on some things. But he's going into the what do you call it? The White House Faith Council, and it'll be all about how there's a prosecution of the Christians and that kind of stuff, and how he's going to combat that. Plus, he has a new book out, so that's on June 5th.
That'd be great. Be great.
Yeah.
Insight. When's he coming on?
June 5th. June 5th, we got him.
That's 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
We're going to hit the road.
All right.
Hit the road,
Join
George.
us tomorrow. Frisky Friday. Don't forget,
Friday.
it's the
I'll
best
see you
day of
guys
the week.
tomorrow morning. I should be home in time for the show tomorrow morning. No problem. Alan guaranteed it. I'm going to fucking kill him.
No, we'll
Drive safe,
find
Alan.
Alan. We'll find Alan if he doesn't get you home in time. You got to be on tomorrow. We got a big day tomorrow.
Everybody have a great day. Chat, thanks for joining us. And we
Love you guys.
appreciate
Thank you. Appreciate
Hit that
it.
like. And I'll get the nice thumb up.
Adios.
Adios.
Hit the like button. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.